representative of Power Africa's East Africa Energy Program, which considers energy one of the greatest game changers, not just for women, but men as well in this developing world. It is both an enabler and a force multiplier for women's economic and social empowerment and equality. In sub-Saharan Africa alone, many of us have heard the statistic of 2 out of 3 people lack access to electricity. And despite Rwanda's growing commitment to gender equality, women still face many challenges, preventing them from fully participating in this sector and others. Across many energy sectors, only 20% of the workforce is made up of women. I have no doubt that today's event will provide yet again another opportunity for stakeholders to assess and re-examine a number of pertinent issues that still hinder women and girls' participation in the energy sector. And despite COVID-19, pandemic-related challenges, Power Africa continues our collaboration with partners for commendable achievements, including the establishment of the professional network POWERHer. Big round of applause for POWERHer, very fantastic group. They've grown from a few motivated professionals to a fully functioning network hosting events, mentoring programs, professional development workshops, and community outreach. And this next session will highlight in detail those networks' achievements and future aspirations. The WIRE initiative directly supported women and girls to enhance the technical and soft skills of women throughout Rwanda in the energy sector, including our 6-month rotational apprenticeship programs and workforce readiness skills. And today, over 1,000 women and girls were trained in technical energy fields through our partnership with energy institutions, and 86 have secured permanent positions. About 695 women and girls trained through our workforce readiness training program thus far, and also we've supported energy institutions with their staffing through these types of placements. About 556 women and men have benefited from our gender-related trainings. Institutions being supported to develop and implement gender equality policies. Myself and other WIRE Initiative staff members that are here today are very proud of these achievements. As I conclude, let me once again thank you to all of our stakeholders, and in particularly the buy-in from the government of Rwanda and our companies that are here. WIRE would not exist without its partnerships. It cannot just be one group driving it, so it's everybody who's been involved to make this a successful program. And I want to thank you all for your participation today and wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Lauren, and it was a wonderful welcome remark. And let me welcome again POWERHer Mutoni, who's the Vice President of POWERHer, to deliver her welcome remarks as well.
Thank you, MC. Officials representing government institutions, representatives of donor agencies, representatives from the energy sector companies, POWERHer members and partners, consultants, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my great honor and privilege to welcome you on this important afternoon. I'm by name Zumutona POWERHer, the Vice President, POWERHer. At the same time, a co-founder of POWERHer. POWERHer is a new independent non-profit organization that was established on October 7th, 2020. It was established with a mission of increasing women in energy sector in leadership positions in Rwanda. Ladies and gentlemen, today the network has over 100 women as co-founding members. With this, it's a great honor. We welcome you all to this WIRE and POWERHer Stakeholder Engagement Workshop and Female Electrical Engineers Permit graduate reception. Before leaving this stage, allow me to welcome the Permanent Secretary, Prof. Ms. Miley Batamurizo. The floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you, POWERHer. Distinguished guests, dear participants, all protocol observed, good afternoon. I'm honored to be with you today in this POWERHer Stakeholders Engagement Workshop and reception of female who acquired rural electrical installation permit. Thanking the women in Rwanda Energy, WIRE, and POWERHer in collaboration with their partners for having organized this event. Thank you. Let also add my voice to congratulate the female engineers who acquired rural electrical installation permits and all stakeholders that were involved in this important initiative that will increase the number of satisfied female electrical practitioners. Distinguished guests, gender equality and energy are the two country priorities among others. The government of Rwanda has set ambitious target to reach 100% electrification rate by 2024. The Vision 2050 also focuses on the high quality and standards of living to transform the lives of households and individuals with the focus on provision of affordable, reliable, and clean energy to both men and women. Access to use of energy is vital for improved livelihood, both for rural and urban development, and also enhances businesses development, investment, and income growth among Rwandans. Mainstreaming and institutionalizing gender equality in the energy sector is thus very essential to ensure that both men and women contribute equally and benefit from designed and implemented energy programs. Unfortunately, as shown by current studies, females are still predominantly affected by these issues. These affect negatively women's health and environment, such as indoor air pollution. In addition, the firewood collection is at most done by women and children, taking them between 1 hour and 3 hours. This remains a huge workload for women, limiting them to engage in other productive activities. On a special note, allow me to thank the government of United States of America through the USAID for the support and drive to power Africa through the East African Energy Program and Women in Rwanda Energy initiatives to enable 1,400 women to break into Rwandan's fast-growing energy sector. Thank you. To continue promote gender equality and increase the number of female in energy sector, the following interventions should be considered. First, developing credit, enhancement, and microfinance programs specifically targeting women and girls, investment in clean energy technologies, and enhance their capacity to engage as energy entrepreneurs. We should provide support in improved cooking stoves to vulnerable families, especially female-headed households. Also, supporting women girls to have more entrepreneurship skills and link them with job opportunities. We must not forget to promote incentives for female participation in energy sector, in leadership and technical position, including the internship, the coaching, and also mentoring girls enrolled in STEAM and energy fields. We have also to develop a standalone gender mainstreaming strategy in energy sector to address gender gaps in the sector. We would support women in energy networks like POWERHer to enhance dialogue and advocacy of obstacles that hinders women and girls' participation in energy sector. We should also plan to collect and disseminate sex disaggregated data on to adequately address gender gaps as well as smoothing gender analysis to enable decisions based on facts. Finally, should plan to support capacity building initiatives of energy institutions and their staff members to foster gender inclusive practices and work environment. As I do conclude, I believe that today's discussion is timely and therefore call upon all stakeholders present here to take advantage of this event and contribute accordingly in order to accelerate gender equality in access to energy. The Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion will remain a strong partner in this struggle to achieve gender equality in energy sector. And on this note, allow me to declare this meeting officially opened, and I wish you all fruitful discussion.
As I was saying, I was established in October 2020 and supported by POWERHer. So our mission was to empower Rwandan women to be future leaders and also influencers in the energy sector. We've also wanted to be the leading organization which empower young women in Rwandan energy sector. Yeah, we've made our core values as our president, His Excellency Paul Kagame, always tell us to have a gachiro. So that was our first core values. So you can go next. When in our establishment, those are questions we have asked. There's some women have so many challenges in the sector. We can say the lack of professional network for women in energy sector. So that was POWERHer. That was also the solution. There's also gender stereotypes, as Anna said in her previous presentation. There is also a limited number of women in energy sector, and also the knowledge about opportunity in the sector. So we have made a WhatsApp group. We are more than 200 women in our WhatsApp group. We have so many young girls from IPRSs. So wherever there is an opportunity in the energy sector, we just post and they apply. There's also limited self-confidence and willingness to learn new things. This is from the culture norms that we thought since we were young. Don't speak out. You can't use the ladder to go to fix something up. So there is so many things that we're taught that can limit us to have that self-confidence. Also, there is a limited number of successful women as role model. Yeah. So our intervention as POWERHer, we've mobilized females to fully participate in energy sector. We offer also the skills to young women to be more confident, open-minded, and then to be more productive. This was done through the training that we have got from POWERHer and from different partners. We assist with, we have a plan to help to assist in the recruitment processes because of the plan we have. We believe that in the future, we can help companies, private companies, to recruit quality women because of the trainings we're going to offer and because of the skills we're going to give them. Also, we want to participate in promoting gender inclusion in various sectors. We want to mobilize also young girls to join TVT and STEM trades with a focus in energy field, because we don't want to be the last one in the energy sector. Also, we are organizing some dialogues, workshop, and webinar, and also we want to invest in job creators and dialogue even on the policies against gender-based violence. So our approach, by now we have established 3 clubs in IPRC Tumba, in IPRC Kichukiro, and also in ULK. We have 3 clubs. We also want to develop an internship program opportunity for fresh graduates. We want to introduce women to career opportunity in energy sector, as I said before. And also something that we want really to do is to create a mentorship program. This program is really something that we want to do, even among us in the network, and then we can even extend it outside the network. We really want to have a training center for women where they can learn hands-on skills just to increase their knowledge, and then they can own their own business, and also they can be ready to take over the investment so that they can have their own business. Let me tell you about our key achievement. We've done a lot. We've celebrated International Women's Day. We've done the membership cultivation event. And also we have networked with other women in Kenya, in Uganda, in Tanzania, even in Germany. So we have established some networking with so many networks, women networks, and also we've done the General Assembly meeting of all members, even though it was online. Yeah, we have attended so many mentorship programs as well, and also 5 of POWERHer clubs members in the IPRC this August. They will attend a course in Gatsibo about rural electrification. So our future interventions also, as I said before, we want to have apprenticeship program to young girls, to young women. If we are establishing clubs, we don't want that it will finish on the IPRC only. We don't want to raise them and to give them the apprenticeship program, to expose them to the opportunity so that they can also be the future leaders, so that they can help the Rwanda to reach to the target. We want to advocate for women to financial scheme so that they can have loan to have their own business in energy sector. We want to train young female on practical and soft skills as well, and also organize outreach campaign so that women can understand really what is energy sector and how it can be their career. So we need financial assistance, and also we need new partners, partnership, collaboration in any way, not only financial, but we need your assistance, we need your guidance, because you have so many experience more than us. So thank you so much.
Any question, reflection? Now the floor is open. Yes, cool, thanks.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sifa, and I come from RGB, Rwanda Governance Board, which I think is a partner to POWERHer Rwanda. Just my comment, one is to congratulate POWERHer Rwanda for coming up with this kind of idea of getting together as young engineers and scientists, female scientists, because there are times when we wouldn't talk about female scientists. So I really congratulate you for the initiative, and I hope ibyiza biri imbere in future. So just to give my observations from the presentations, you've been talking about cultural norms that continue to inhibit the advancement of women in the science sector, and especially in the energy sector. And how do we look up? How do we find a solution to that? So I just want to mention a few things. One is, as you think of empowering the young women, I would also suggest that you think of an approach where you can discuss also with the young brothers, also the men. Because if you just limit yourselves to the circle of young girls and women, then you won't understand why these stereotypes keep coming up. So I would just encourage you to think of the Male Engage initiative, but also discuss with, perhaps you may not mix them, because maybe the young girls still have some inhibition, some limitations of self-confidence and esteem and all that. But I'm just trying to kind of speak loud about including or maybe engaging boys and young men into the discussions of why are these stereotypes and cultural norms still a challenge. That's number one. And then number two, in the presentation, the president of POWERHer has just mentioned it, but I need to emphasize it, is to also look at certain other things that can be stressed to kind of give the young girls, although I know that also the young boys have the same problem, because of where we are coming from in terms of our history, is other skills, like social skills, like, how can I call them? Self-help skills. You mentioned about someone coming up as an engineer, but who cannot write a good CV, for example. You can't write a good CV, you can't market yourself, you can't do a good written test for the job, and you can't do an interview. But I also think that one can be an engineer, but is limited in trying to talk in terms of these other languages that are not Kinyarwanda. So I would encourage all of you, the young girls, which I think is the problem that you share with your brothers, is that also as you become technical, look at the idea of empowering yourselves in other skills that can bring you up as a future leader. For example, the languages. The languages, the English, the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, you know, these other things that we need, because you can be an engineer, but your scope will be limited to carrying the ladder and making constructions in these houses, but you cannot perhaps go to the East African market. So I really want to encourage you to kind of be vast. Thank you very much, and I hope I'm also calling up the partners to come and assist this young group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sifa. I know our RGB has been our ongoing partner since the beginning, and really hope to engage you as we move further. And your interventions reminded me of when we visited IPRC Kichuchiro. One of the guys came to us and were like, can we join the workshop? We really want to be involved. And we didn't really know how to engage them, but your intervention is really helpful. We think through of how we could even have them as partners and collaborators into this whole process. Any other intervention before? Yes, thanks.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Nicole, for putting this together. I remember when you came first. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I am Marie-Chantal Chirignana. I am a physicist, and I am working at the National Council for Science and Technology, but I also have an organization called RAWISE, which is Rwandan Association for Women in Science and Engineering. I am the president, and I think most of you are part of that. So I just want to add to what my colleague just said that we have to involve men in what we always do, because sometimes we forget that they have to also come to that equality that we are talking about. So another thing that we forget to say is always that women also tend to hide some of the things, and they don't also want other women to go up. So we have to encourage each other we have to share information, and you always have to be those role models that you are talking about. Always want something that's like, if my young sister or my colleague is getting a promotion, congratulate her, take her for a drink, say that you have done well. So that is the thing. Instead of being jealous, okay, you know what I'm talking about. So please try to share information and those opportunities, and then recognize. I am happy that Minister of Infrastructure recognized the work that you are doing. That is a good thing, and this is an encouragement. Another thing is we tend to be like fearing to show what we are capable of doing. So as this organization exists, we know our members. We know each one weakness. Try to push them, because they are like hidden talent which are in our country. Because if it wasn't for that, we couldn't be here. So let's try to push ourselves, and then we are going to reach somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chantal. I know Louise has been our ongoing partners as well. We've been a part of your events. You come to our events as well, so we hope to keep engaging you as we grow, as we think through this whole vision that we want to drive together. Any other intervention? Yes. Let's hear from a male colleague. We've been hearing from women, fantastic women. It's really cool, but let's hear from a male intervention, and then we come to you.
Well, thank you. I'm Hitmana Steven from Gender Monitoring Office. But before I share my observation, I would like to thank you for this great initiative in promoting gender equality in the energy sector. But I'll dream mostly on one of the recommendations that came up, integrated approach. So whatever you are doing, you need to really focus on an integrated approach. What am I trying to say? If you want, I'll point about maybe three, the good side of it. One, if you want to sustain your gains in whatever you're doing, you need to work with different stakeholders in terms of institutionalizing your gains. Like those gains should be, you need to work with the local leadership, for example, because whatever you are doing, the ultimate end of it is service delivery to the community. Point number one. Point number two, it's all about the sustainability. Young ladies talking about good initiative, mentoring, internship, all this. You need to come up with a strategy to sustain them. At times, they are good, it could be like the initial design of any idea or any program is really great. But at times, when some gains are on the ground, when you don't have a formable, sustainable plan to it, then the gains are lost. So that's a point that I really have. So all that tests, and you need to work with the government. Good example is you have the certificates, but there could be other opportunity. And finally, strive at being a center of excellence. Why don't you scale this to other domains, electrical engineering? But again, we have mining as well. We have agriculture as well. We have other sectors where are very critical to the country's development. So strive as a role model and pass over and over and over. Those are the few comments I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And let's hear from Gihana, you raised the hand, and then we hear from Sandy as well from the private sector, right? And then you. Cool. We're going Do we have any other remaining intervention? Because we're running out of time and we want, yes, let's take those because we want to do the reception as well and celebrate the female graduates. Yes, Johanna.
Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to briefly share. As the moderator mentioned, my name is Donata Jihana, and I had the opportunity to work on the gender and energy brief that Elizabeth has just presented, but also, you know, I do work in gender and energy, so really a pleasure to be here. Just echoing what others have mentioned, I can't express the joy that I have seeing POWERHer in place, and obviously commending the work you've done so far, even if you're babies. You're not babies, you're already, you know, grown up, and that gives us a great hope that there's a lot more that you will deliver on as POWERHer. The name itself is very strong, POWERHer, so leave that. I just wanted to briefly note that it's really good to see the evidence and research that's being generated. And as you all know, this helps us in advocating from an evidence point of view. So mine is really further encouraging us to do more research because it helps us to pave the way in terms of evidence. Echoing in what Steve has just mentioned, seeing our PS in the Ministry of Gender here, and also seeing a number of research that has been done by the government agencies themselves, to me, we have the support as women, and in this regard, women in energy. The GMO developed a whole national gender and energy profile in 2018. It's available. There's a lot we can gather from that. But again, as I mentioned, that's not all. There's a lot more that we need to do. When you look at the brief that we developed at the African Development Bank and the GMO brief, there is a lot around use, access and affordability. When you look at that in terms of the day-to-day lives of people, including us, what energy means for us, there is quite a number of insights there. If I ask everybody has in the room, everybody owns a mobile phone. We have access to computers, but all of us eat every day. That's energy. Do we think of what this means in terms of collecting this energy? Evidence is showing us that the onus, the burden, is really on women and girls in our communities. As women, as we fill up the capacity gap, are we also aware of those nuances, those issues that are actually affecting the different genders? Mine is a call out to really further research more on the area such that we advocate from an evidence point of view. When you look at the time, poverty, it hasn't reduced. A woman still spends more than 5 hours a week looking for firewood, and that's simply firewood. Imagine water. Imagine what we are calling this woman to do in terms of engaging in leadership at local level. So how are we using the capacity? How are we using the energy, the knowledge that we're gaining in these IPRCs and all the university degrees that we have to be innovative and find out those solutions that will be able to address some of those challenges that our women and girls are facing? We are looking at IPRCs and universities, but remember, kwiga bitangirira he muri primary. If these girls spend 4 to 5 hours in a week collecting firewood, it means we are having lesser girls in IPRCs and universities. So generally, how do we really get to the foundation of all these issues such that we come out strongly and advocate rightly? In terms of collaborations and networks, I was reading a few days ago, just yesterday, the World Bank will be trying to develop a regional network of women in energy. especially in the East African region. How do we show up as POWERHer in that? Because you already have a lot to share in that. And Energia has a number of resources. It's the leading agency globally in gender mainstreaming. It has a lot of resources and trainings and anything you can think of or available on their website. So mine is an encouragement, and I liked Sifa's intervention, Sifa, my friend, on the culture, norms, and attitudes. We still see that even affecting the planning and mainstreaming. I was looking at one of the gender budget statements for one agency, which I won't mention, and I was wondering, it's all cooking stoves. Amashiga ya chijambere ni stoves. I don't know what they call it. Stoves. But I deeply reflected on that. Why is it that when it comes to energy plans, even at the national level, ikintu chambere tubanza gutekereza na amashiga stoves? Why? Traditionally, girls and women, we are cooking. So can we actually, be able to support even these mainstreaming processes to think beyond the stoves, to think beyond the traditional roles, of women and girls, and be innovating in one way or another? I'll wrap up at that. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share with you.
Thanks for the call out. I believe Nicole and other colleagues from POWERHer are noting down things to keep in mind while we're developing our strategy and our main interventions. Thanks, Johanna. That was really brilliant. And let's hear from...
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Anastase Ndagijimana. I'm the chairperson for Young African Leaders Initiative, Regional Leadership Center, East Africa, alumni chapter of Rwanda. Didn't mean to speak, but after what someone from GMO spoke about, I thought I had something to say about the integrated approach he mentioned. I would rephrase it, call it an inclusive approach, because when it is integrated, I quickly understand that people get in a system, but they have to change. If they don't change, they don't fit in the system. So we have to change the system to accommodate everyone. And when you look at the patriarchal or male-dominant society we live in, almost across the whole continent of Africa, sometimes men do not understand why it is critically important to get women involved in the energy sector. So before we get them involved, I mean men, we have to get them changed, because if they are not changed, we involve them forcefully, and they are not going to be supportive of women in the system. That's a small something I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I know, round of applause, please. Keep it. Round of applause. Give him, because I believe that was really good in terms of inclusivity, and I think Yali has been one of our ongoing partners as well. We've participated in your actions, and we've been part of Yali and supporting POWERHer as well. So thanks for being present and sharing your intervention. We really appreciate. And let's hear from the private sector. Sandy.
Thank you. Mwiriwe neza. Mwiriwe neza. Ko numva amajwi y'abagabo kurusha y'abakobwa. Kandi turi imbarwa. Nitwa Sande Kabarebe, nyobora EPD. Forgive me, I'm going to use Kinyarwanda a little bit more kugira ngo ngeze ubutumwa bwanje kuri bagenzi bacu. Ni gace cyane usanga ku isi hari igihugu giteye nk'u Rwanda. Uyu munsi u Rwanda nicyo gihugu cyonyine aho kwitwa umugore ari ishema kurusha ibindi bihugu byose ku isi. Ibyo turabikesha ubuyobozi bwacu, ni intambwe nziza, kandi byagaragaye ko ubuyobozi kubikora byatumye n'u Rwanda rutera imbere ku muvuduko udasanzwe. Twageze kuri byinshi kubera uruhare rw'abagore. Kubw'izo mpamvu rero, POWERHer twarabanye mbere yuko inabaho, twatangiranye na waya, twarayisapotinze, twari mu ba mbere bayendosinze ngo ibone inkunga yo kubaho. Ibyo bikwereka ko uruhare rw'umugore mu iterambere ry'igihugu turushigikiye. Uyu munsi mufite ijambo, ariko iryo jambo ntabwo ndimo kuribona. Bya bindi bahoze bavuga kwitinya kubera culture, nahoze nshaka gukora ka exercise ariko ndavuga nshobora kuhakura inshuti nke kandi naje gukora inshuti nyinshi. Nari butoranye umwe nkamuhagurutsa nkamubaza ntivugira kuri iyi mikoro twumve, ariko ari ukugira ngo ngaragaze ko urubuga mwararuhawe, nimurukoresha. Nimujye muri za LinkedIn mushyireho amaprofile yanyu, tubone ibikorwa byanyu. Namwe mudafite akazi mugiye kugraduating uyu munsi, mubyandike. Hari companies zishaka abakozi, hari uburyo POWERHer yashizeho barinkinga kuri opportunities zihari muri companies. Mugatangira mukorera companies, ariko icyo twifuza mukazagira naho namwe mwikorera, mukagira companies zanyu. Nka ba Tereza bari hano rwose yamaze kugera kure muri hydro, afite projects zitagira ingano, multi-million dollar projects. Namwe mwabigeraho. So ubwo nibwo butuma nari mbafitiye mbabwira ko turi kumwe, nimutinyuke. Kandi ba Nicole, hari uburyo mwahoze muvuga go creating awareness, noneho iyo awareness ndumva mwanayihera no ku masibo, ikazamuka ikagera ku rwego rw'intara. Umwana w'umukobwa akumva ko ashyigikiwe, akumva ko afite iyi opportunity, agahabwa akazi, akamenya kuvuga, akamenya kwigira. Murakoze cyane.
We can't close this part without maybe hearing from the private sector still. Yes, we want to hear your voice as a private sector.
Thank you so much. Nitwa Teresa Kamana. Naje mpagarariye chamber ya specialized cluster irimo abadamu, youth na people with disability. Ariko nanone nkaba ndi umudamu umwe muri babandi batangiye energy sector. Icyo nababwira, birashimishije kubona ahantu POWERHer igeze kure kandi yaratangiye ejo bundi. Ikindi nashaka kwankuraja aba bana bacu b'abakobwa, mufite byinshi cyane. Abavuze mbere babivuze, CEO Sande yabivuze neza, mufite urubuga ariko ntimurukoresha neza. Muzakomeze murebere kuri babandi babikoresheje neza, aho twageze nuko rwa rubuga twarukoresheje neza. Mutwegere tubabwire uko twabigenjeje, mukomerezaho. Kandi na PSF irahari kugira ngo ibafashe.
Murakoze Therese, and keep up the good work. Ibintu byinshi muri gukora, so we're so happy and appreciate your presence here.